Hey everybody out there, Chris here, and welcome to my post New York Comic Con video. A lot of people have been messaging me. I know Mike made a video, Kat made a video. Everybody was asking what I got at New York Comic Con, what happened at New York Comic Con, and I know we talked about it at the live show, but I would like to give my own personal take on New York Comic Con. First, I want to show off a couple of things I got, get that out of the way, and then talk about my personal experience. First, it took the last day, and the last day at New York Comic Con is the best because on the last day is when they give you the sales. I got Deadshot for only $1 above cover price. So I paid $5 for a 3D version of Deadshot. The one book I did not get in 3D, I found in 3D. Ironically, they did have a lot of Joker's Daughter for 35 bucks. I was not paying. And if you go on Midtown Comics right now, you could pay 10 bucks for a 3D cover of Joker's Daughter if you want it that bad. I don't. It was a horrible story. But I'm just saying, I feel bad for anybody who paid $35 for Joker's Daughter at New York Comic Con because you could have paid $10 at Midtown. Also, given away for free was Line of Defense, which is DC working with it's going to be a video game or computer game. It's free download for the beta, but they actually made a comic book promotion for it. When we were at the Zenoscope booth, first we got this handed out to us for free, which is the world's most dangerous animals. This is from Free Comic Book Day, I believe, 2 years ago. And they were also giving away Sleepy Hollow issue number 1 for free. And with that, you also got 2 pins, which are these two, promoting Age of Darkness, which is coming soon in Zenoscope. At our table where we were sitting for Comic Related, they were giving away Derby City Comic Con, which is in June, and it's in Kentucky, for those of you interested. A book by James Maddox and Brandon Lawn, which is called Clown. We were sitting next to a really good person that we met, and I'll talk about this later, called Chris Carlton, and he does Binary Gray, which we had signed by him and Dave. I can't say his last name, so I'm not going to butcher it, so we just said Dave. And Black of Heart issue number 2, signed by him and Dave also. And that was really awesome meeting him. Other than that, now it's all advertisements and con exclusives. Let's finish the pins off. From Hallmark, me and Cindy got a pin with Yoda, and there was also an advertisement over here, which advertises all the ornaments they're making, and then it opens up into a huge poster of the Yoda ornament that's coming out for this year, I guess. Dark Horse, Vandroid, huge oversized print promotion. It was very hard keeping this from bending. Oh, the pins. Also, we got these two from Dark Horse, these 2 pins. It's going to be easier to look down. This pin I got when I passed by the Random House audio booth. And this one was somewhere next to it, and it's a static pin. Lenticular. Also from Salient Comics, we got from Chris Carlton just an advertisement for Salient Comics for Binary Gray, and this one is for Black of Heart. You can check these out. I'll try to hold this one close enough so you could scan the QR code if you'd like. But those are 2 advertisements and 2 things that I'm keeping for Michael. Definitely should check out Salient Comics. Here, I'll give you guys the link. I'll also try to remember to put it in the description. But definitely something you guys should definitely check out. It was an honor sitting next to him during New York Comic Con. Other advertisements were for Star Wars from Dark Horse. This place was interesting. It's called Tervis, and they make these interesting cups. You could have them personalized if you want. So just something to make mention of. It's Tervis.com. Met a really nice guy. David Sin. I want to make sure, yeah, Sin, and he gave me his book Argo Argo 5 number 2. Look forward to us reviewing this at some point. This is when we were at the Comic Related booth and we were doing the Meet the Dark Avenger Inc. crew. Kat at that time also gave me and Mike some slime. No, Sunday she gave us some Funhouse slime, which was nice. I know what I'm doing with it, but I'm not saying anything. And then while we were in the press lounge, this guy came around representing T-Pub, and he gave us this book called Tabitha. So this looks very interesting. I'll be reading this and reviewing it on Ink. Whoever gets to review it first, whether it be us or Kat. And if not on Ink, Mike and I will be reviewing it on the Indie Show. And then just a bunch of posters that I'm not going to read off the titles to. I'll just show you guys. They were giving away so many awesome posters. They have this one for Star Wars. But suffice to say, without going through all of them, we got a lot of... Oh, I took yours, Michael, by mistake. Yeah, these are Michael's. Oops, I took Michael's. These are yours, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
By the way, I'm behind camera. Hello.
This one, I feel dumb. I actually got to see Sean Murphy, and I didn't have him sign the Wake poster I got. But I did get the Wake poster. In my defense, I got it the day before he was in Artist Alley, so I didn't, you know, it's not like I didn't have it. And then we have a Brother Lono. And those are all the advertisements we got free. My con exclusives, I did get the Nightwing that I was saying I wanted to get, which is basically instead of blue, it's red, and the eyes are red. From Hallmark, I got the keepsake ornament of Superman in gray and black, which apparently is becoming a huge in now for a lot of people that were into that. And I got to meet Tony S. Daniel, and he signed a print of Superman Wonder Woman, which, by the way, I just reviewed issue number 1. It was a really good first issue. However, hate Wonder Woman. So I thought that was awesome, and Mike actually got me the cover for
You're welcome.
this. So it'll stay nice and safe. You see the signature at the top. He was also doing Joker prints, but obviously
Aren't you going to show the other side?
That was from last year.
Oh, never mind.
And I showed it last year. So that's the stuff we got. Now, my experience of New York Comic Con 2013, it was a really awesome convention. Overcrowded. Absolutely. The first thing when you say New York Comic Con that hits my mind is crowd. There were times, especially on Saturday, when we first got there, where I was getting so frustrated with the crowds that I was ready to leave. I didn't want to even stick around because it was driving me nuts. And you get to the lunchroom, good luck finding a seat at the lunchroom. People were fighting for seats. This is, of course, before we found out about the press lounge. But beside the point, overcrowded. That was the biggest minus to New York Comic Con. And really the only one. Other than the cosplayers that made people stop directly in the aisle to take pictures of them. But that's a convention, so you kind of got to expect that. But the crowds were what really made it hard. But after the morning on Saturday, the rest of Saturday was spectacular, and also Sunday was another spectacular day. We had a lot of interviews. I'm going to start with Saturday. Saturday we got to talk to Patrick Shand. We got to talk to Xenoscope. Love what they have planned, what's going on. Really great seeing Pat again. We're huge supporters of Pat on Dark Avenger Inc. He does amazing writing. If you guys are not checking out Xenoscope, please do. Xenoscope has a lot of huge stories, and he is one of the heads at the helm right now from Xenoscope. We also got to go around. We got to see a lot of booths. We got to meet a lot of people. Mike and myself got to sit at the comic-related table. Well, Mike did mostly standing.
Yeah.
But we got to meet Chris Carlton, and we got to meet Dave, Paul. I know a lot of them by first name only. The only reason I know Chris by first and last name is because Michael kept saying it over and over and over again. So
yeah.
But Chris was also, it was great, you know, when Mike went to I forgot where where you went for a moment. You had to walk away for a moment. Cindy had gone to the... No, you went with Cindy to get mouse guard.
Yeah, and then I was looking for Peter David.
Right, you guys you went looking for Peter David, but Cindy was talking to Peter Davison, and you went with her. And I was sitting at the comic related booth, and I got to talk with Chris and Dave, and it was a really awesome conversation. We had a great time. I had a great time just sitting there. You know, everybody at the comic related table was awesome, so friendly. I got to meet Eric. Eric was at the beginning. Eric was in the very beginning of the day in the morning. I remember we got there, I was texting with him, and after maybe about 15 minutes running around looking for lanyard, which I did forget the Dark Horse white lanyard. We did get that also. That's in our room, which eventually you guys will see it in a video. I'll stick it in a video somewhere. And spent most of the morning with Eric. When Eric left is when we decided to go looking for the lunchroom, and that's where everything was crazy and things hit ahead, and that's when we went to the comic related table to sit for a bit. But everybody at the comic related table was awesome, so friendly. Really enjoyed spending time with everybody there. Unfortunately, the worst part of the convention is the last day when everybody leaves, and nobody lives in New York, so technically everybody went back to their parts of the world, mostly Ohio. One went to Philadelphia, but mostly Ohio. So, that was the only sad part. Chris was only there. Chris and Dave were only there for Saturday. Paul and Allison were there on Sunday in their stead. Everybody was nice, though. Everybody was really great. We had a great time. Next year, hopefully we can get Brant down there. I want to get Chuck and John from Comic Related also down there. We got to get Mike down there.
And also, don't forget, we met Pete from Pete's Basement.
I was getting to that!
Okay. Geez.
I love how Mike does that. I'm sticking to one thing and then he jumps ahead. Well, hopefully we get everybody from Dark Avenger Inc. down, and we'll get everybody from Comic Related down next year. It'll be spectacular. Chuck, you might need another table. Yeah, you're not getting another table, so people are going to be standing around a lot. So, it was just amazing, fun. And then, like Michael jumped ahead and said, we got to meet Pete from Pete's Basement. The first time we went to the booth, just Ramon was there. So we talked with Ramon for a bit. Later on, before the Meet Dark Avenger Inc. hour, we had passed by Pete's Basement's booth again, and Pete was there. And they were actually, ironically, closing out Tuesday's show. Mike had gone up to them, and then I had gone up to them, and they're like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, Mike from Dark Avenger Inc. And then I walked over, and they're like, oh, it's Chris Ventura, I know who you are. And it was kind of funny, because Mike's sitting there going, gee, it's nice nobody knows me. And the reason for that is because when I started my comic reviews on YouTube, before I started my reviews, I went looking around for other comic reviewers. And at that time, 2 years ago, it was rare to find somebody who was reviewing comic books. And I came across Pete's Basement, which then led me to Pete's Basement's website. And I started watching their episodes. I started from their latest episode, and I worked my way backwards. I'm not saying I watched every single episode, but I worked my way backwards. Quite a while backwards, though. Kind of like what happened with me in Zone 4. I listened to a Zone 4 episode, and then I worked my way backwards a great distance back. So, Pete's Basement was the first review show I actually watched on YouTube, on a website, and it kind of gave me that extra oomph I needed to actually start my comic reviews, and it gave me a lot of ideas to work on, especially at the beginning, not knowing what to do at all. It gave me main ideas. Pete and everybody on the show gave me main ideas. Through watching them, I learned a lot, and then I put that into my comic reviews. And then, of course, as time moved forward, I evolved my comic review myself. But I always advertise Pete's Basement on my comic reviews. After episode 100, though, a lot of the description work and everything moved on to somebody else to do, whose name won't be named, but that person's no longer around. So I took over the description work after episode 150. And that's why there are so many pending descriptions, because I have not caught up with myself yet. I work slow. This is why somebody else was doing my descriptions for a while. And in the descriptions, she had the person had taken off all the links to a lot of things except Midtown. So once I catch up, to episode 200, I'm going to redo the entire description of my comic reviews, and all the links will be back, because there were a lot of links I had, and there are a lot of links I want to add. So, just saying that. But Pete's Basement, I've always promoted their show. I always say, guys, go check out Pete's Basement. And it's true. The show has moved from a video to an audio format for now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but for right now, it's the Pete's Basement podcast and a 10-minute video, which is the very beginning of the show where they run down most of the books that they're going to discuss on their podcast. Meeting Pete was spectacular. I was walking up to the booth expecting Pete and everybody else not to know who I was. And to my surprise, even 2 years later, everybody at the booth knew who I was. I was kind of in shock for a moment. Because Pete's talking to me like he's known me forever, even though we've been on Facebook. We've been Facebook buds since the very beginning. We've been on Facebook as friends. But we hadn't talked in so long, and I hadn't talked to Pete's Basement in such a while. It was kind of a surreal shock to know that they remembered me. And that was kind of fun. And we had mentioned about Meet the Dark Avenger Inc. Crew at Comic Related, and it was spectacular. It was an honor, and at the same time, it was really humbling. Pete was the first person to show up at the Meet the Dark Avenger Inc. crew at the Comic Related table. He was the very first one to show up, and others followed after him, but the fact that he was the first one, it meant a lot to not only myself, but everybody on Dark Avenger Inc. that was there. But it meant a lot to me because I started watching Pete's Basement before I did my reviews, and I enjoyed watching their work 2 years ago. Before I started doing so much work, I can't even watch my own videos anymore to do editing. But it was really great. That was an experience that whole day, that made the entire day, meeting Pete from Pete's Basement, meeting the guys and gal at the Comic Related tables, and just all that made Saturday worthwhile. And the interview with Patrick Shand. From the interview all the way through to meeting everybody at the Comic Related table in Pete's Basement made Saturday worthwhile. Then Sunday, meeting Tony Daniel, Peter Davidson, and David Peterson. Or David, wait.
Peter David and David Peterson.
Believe it or not, that's their names. And getting interviews with them was amazing. Sunday was just spectacular all around up until the very end of the day, where they were like throwing everybody out at like 5 o'clock on the dot. Mike got to go to his first panel. I got to interview people with Kat. We got to meet Kat for the first time. We got to meet Steven on Saturday. That's another thing I forgot to mention. And it was great, but we're probably never going to see Steven again, or at least not for a while, because we all know Steven lives in the UK and he doesn't want to move here. So hopefully he'll come back next year, but hopefully we'll be seeing more of Kat as time moves forward. But it was great meeting them for the first time. It was just going back to Sunday though. It was a blast. I got to meet Tony Daniel. Mike got to meet Peter David. Sydney got to meet David Peterson. And the rest of the day was just shopping. And that's where the Superman Hallmark thing came in. Nightwing is thanks to Kat. If not for Kat, I never would have found Nightwing. And all the freebie stuff you see is what we got on Sunday. So, if not for Sunday, I'd have nothing to show. What else? I feel like something else happened on Sunday. We found the press lounge on Sunday, and the Superman suit display was, when you stand there looking at it, especially when you're at the Christopher Reeve suit, I was in like awe for a second. It was just like you stand there and you're looking at all these different Superman suits throughout time, and you can't not stand there and just be in awe and just wow. This was worn by Christopher Reeves. These were worn by all the different actors that played Superman. I'm surprised that George Reeves' costume wasn't there, but everybody else's was. Even Tom Welling's suit. So you get awestruck, and it was just surreal seeing all those costumes, especially Christopher Reeves. And they didn't just have Christopher Reeves from Superman 1. They had Christopher Reeves from Superman 1 and Dark Superman from Superman 3. That was wow. But good luck getting a picture of it with the sun shining right down on you. All in all, The convention was spectacular. Met so many amazing people. Interviewed so many great people. I cannot wait for New York Comic Con 2014. It was spectacular. The news that came out of New York Comic Con was huge. Compared to San Diego, New York Comic Con really delivered with comic news. I feel like San Diego gave us comic news, but mostly TV and movies. New York, they gave with the comic news. With the comic teasers, they gave everything at New York Comic Con this year. When it came to comic books, they gave TV and movies, but the main focus point on New York Comic Con, which I appreciate, was the comic books. And then the movies and everything else, and the Stan Lee cologne. But it was just really, really spectacular, and I'm looking forward to things coming out of DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, especially Zenescope, everywhere, every company. Image, they had Walking Dead that everybody was talking about. Robert Kirkman was there, but good luck getting his autograph. Boom was there. Cindy got a lot of interesting things that are to come from Boom. Dynamite, I believe Dynamite was there, but I didn't find the booth. Or I was looking over the booth for some reason. I think Eric was trying to show me it, but we couldn't find it. It was just fun meeting everybody, and I'm looking forward to next year, and I'm looking forward to things before New York Comic Con, because after the events of New York Comic Con, I believe that I said to you guys at the beginning of 2013, Dark Avenger Inc., as well as myself, we're going to make a mark this year. That's our goal, is to make a mark and get a website. We got the website pretty close to the beginning of the middle of the year. Closer to the beginning of the year. We got the website at the beginning of the year. And then we made our mark, I believe, in two ways. Number one was Villains Month. We made a huge mark with Villains Month. We had a great time. We covered every single Villains Month book. And we had skits and everything to go along with it. And I believe that really built on what we've already had on Dark Avenger Inc. And the second mark was New York Comic Con. Because there were a lot of people that came up to us during the Meet the Dark Avenger Inc. hour. There were a lot of people that came up to us when we were walking on the show floor. And there were just a lot of people that recognized us in general. Writers, artists, etc. So, we made our mark. I made a joke on the live show this past Tuesday and said we're going to make it an ink world next year. I'm not ready to make the announcement of what we are planning for Dark Avenger Inc. or what our goal is for next year. That was a joke that apparently a lot of people took seriously. But anyway, I figured because they made a joke about the Avengers world, I'd say it would be an ink world. Our goals, we will talk about that in December, at the end of the year. Our goal next year for New York Comic Con, though, is more coverage, hopefully to get more people from Dark Avenger Inc. and comic related down to New York Comic Con, so there's more people to do coverage and more people to just, have a good time and be together. New York Comic Con is where people from all over the United States and outside have a chance to get together and just meet each other in person. I'm hoping for that next year. That's one of the goals for next year at New York Comic Con. And also, like I said, more interviews and more stuff and just more content, I'm hoping, next year from New York Comic Con. But that's New York Comic Con. As far as Dark Avenger Inc. and my channel, stay tuned. In December, we will talk about the things that I'm hoping in the coming year for both channels and the goals that will be set for this channel as well as Dark Avenger Inc. And there's one more mark. One more mark is coming for Dark Avenger Inc. that we're going to leave on 2013. The biggest mark so far is September, Villains Month, October, New York Comic Con. There's one more mark that's going to happen in October before year's end. There's one more mark we're making with Dark Avenger Inc. in history. And that's going to happen really soon. So soon that I'm telling you guys, do not miss next Tuesday's live show, or you're going to really miss out on the final mark that Dark Avenger Inc. is going to make on 2013. And with that, that's it, guys. I'm talked out. My voice is dying. Loved it. Loved meeting everybody at New York Comic Con. It was an honor meeting everybody. Everybody was amazing. I look forward to seeing all of you next year at New York Comic Con. I look forward to seeing everybody who's in the area before New York Comic Con and at New York Comic Con. And just, I hope everybody had a good time. I had a great time. I know Mike had a great time. Got a lot of stuff. I got to figure out where this is going to go. This is a huge, huge print. I was very happy to meet Tony Daniel. And I'm glad I got everything I was looking for, especially getting the Deadshot 3D cover, which is the only 3D cover I missed out on because the Joker's daughter stunk. So I'm not upset about missing out on the 3D cover. Yeah, so it was a blast, and I can't wait for next year. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for my whole vlog on New York Comic Con. Look forward to Outside the Pages coming back soon. Since I'm doing vlogs again, might as well do it on Outside the Pages and outside of comic book stuff. Take care, everybody. Keep reading. Keep collecting. I will see you guys next week for the review. Soon on Dark Avenger Inc. in another video. And we'll see about Outside the Pages. But until then, take care. And I'll see you guys.
And also, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com.
Well, this is a vlog, but yes,
for your comic.
Don't forget to check out comicrelated.com for all your. It's your #1 source. Thank you for just throwing me off completely. For comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Don't forget to check out Pete's Basement. Awesome, awesome reviewers. And don't forget to check out Dark Avenger Inc., our group. We try to give you guys as many videos each and every day as we can. This way, when you, for our subscribers, we're in your sub box, and there's a ton of new content each and every day. If you're not subbed to Dark Avenger Inc., please do click the sub button. This way, we are in your sub box, and you don't miss out on a single video. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you're enjoying what you see, please click the sub button. This way, my reviews and all other videos I do on my channel will be in your subscription box, and you won't miss out on a single video from me. Now, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys really soon in another video. Take care, everybody.